occasion of World Ozone Day, organized by Law College Dehradun, faculty of Uttaranchal University, in collaboration with 127 Infantry Battalion, TA Ecological, Garhwal Rifles, Indian Army, under the aegis of Aram the Debating Society, Law College Dehradun. It would be an immense pleasure to introduce our chief guest for today's event, Brigadier Mohan Singh Bish. Sir has been commissioned in Indian Army on 13 January 1993. He was an alumni of Sherwood College, Nainital, and had completed his MBBS from AFMC Pune and DNB in Family Medicine from New Delhi. In 2008, Sir was awarded with Army Commander's Commendation Award, Northern Command. Sir has also been in 2 foreign missions, one in 2000 to 2003 and second in 2018 to 2019. Sir has served in various military hospitals throughout India and is presently appointed as a commandant in Military Hospital Dehradun with effect from August 2021. It is an honor to have such an eminent personality with us today. We welcome you, sir. Now, I request Director Student Affairs and IT Services, Uttaranchal University, Dr. Abhishek Joshi, sir, to felicitate our chief guest.
You don't win a debate by suppressing discussion. You win it with better argument. Keeping that thought in mind, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I, Anushka Joshi, on behalf of Aram, the Debating Society, bid you a warm welcome to the intramural debate competition on the occasion of World Ozone Day. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce you to the guests for today's event. We are honored to have with us our Honorable Chief Guest, Brigadier Mohan Singh Bish, sir, Commandant, Military Hospital, Dehradun. I take the honor of welcoming Colonel Rohit Srivastava, Commanding Officer, 127 Infantry Battalion, TA Eco Garhwal Rifles, without whose collaboration this event would not have been possible. We welcome you, sir. We are also delightful to have with us our guest of honor, Dr. Abhishek Joshi, sir, Director, Student Affairs and IT Services, our dignified patron and team, and Vice Chancellor officiating Uttaranchal University, Professor Dr. Rajesh Bahuguna, sir, respected Principal officiating Law College Dehradun and Head of Department, Dr. Poonam Rawat. I take the honor of welcoming the esteemed judging panel for today's event. Ms. Smriti Unyal, ma'am, Assistant Professor in Mass Communication, Department of Mass Communication, Uttaranchal University. Dr. Shikha Unyal Gairola, ma'am, Assistant Professor in Environmental Science, Law College Dehradun, Uttaranchal University. Mr. Kumar Ashutosh, sir, Assistant Professor in Political Science, Head of Department, HNL, Law College Dehradun, Uttaranchal University. Respected judges, on behalf of Aram, the Debating Society, I extend my humble gratitude to you. I would also like to extend a sincere welcome to all the faculty members present here today as well as the student bodies. Law College Dehradun has a legacy of great debaters. We conquered debating edifice and scripted history at the likes of Delhi University, Aligarh Muslim University, Jamia Millia Islamia, various NLUs, and so on and so forth. It is the tradition set by our senior debaters since the very inception of this society and college itself that we seek to carry forward. And in the realization of this vision, let us put our best foot forward to find the warrior of words. May this competition give all aspiring debaters of Law College Dehradun a chance to prove their mettle. Keeping this in mind, I wish all the participants all the best and may the best debater win. Thank you.
Discussions are always better than arguments because an argument is to find out who is right and a discussion is to find out what is right. So with this thought, let's move forward towards the commencement of this debate. But before moving ahead, for the convenience of all, let us decide the rules of this intramural debate competition once. The rules are as follows. First, get 3 minutes to put forward their points and 1 minute to conclude the speech.
हर वक्ता को 3 मिनट का समय अपने बिंदुओं को रखने तथा 1 मिनट का समय अपने वक्तव्य का निष्कर्ष देने हेतु दिया जाए।
Third, the speakers are not allowed to take any gadget or any piece of paper to the podium, violating which they will be disqualified on the discretion of the jury.
वक्ताओं को किसी भी प्रकार के उपकरण अथवा कागज को मंच पर ले जाने की अनुमति नहीं है, जिसका उल्लंघन किए जाने पर उन्हें निर्णायक मंडल के विवेक पर प्रतियोगिता से बाहर कर दिया जाएगा।
Fourth, the use of unparliamentary language is forbidden.
असंसदीय भाषा का प्रयोग वर्जित है।
Fifth, the speaker can speak either exclusively in English or exclusively in Hindi.
वक्ता या तो विशेषतः हिंदी अथवा विशेषतः अंग्रेजी में ही बोल सकते हैं।
Last but not the least, the decision of the jury shall be final.
निर्णायक मंडल का निर्णय आखिरी माना जाएगा।
Now, let's call our first speaker, F1 and A1, and wish them luck.
The hole in the ozone layer is a kind of a skywriting. At the first instance, it seems like a continuation of the complemencies, but later on, it turned out to be a dead pearl. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we all are here for this wonderful debate competition, and I am here to present my thoughts and opinions in the support of the motion that is, the race of development has created the impact towards the depletion of the ozone layer. Well, let's see how. The centuries and the centuries have passed, decades after the decades, generation after the generation. Still, the hunger for attaining the height of these successes has never been fulfilled. It has been growing every single day. The hunger for getting the power has never been passed to it. Well, this race of development is completely filled with the greed, and every single nation, whether it is a developing nation or the developing nation, has been a part of it. In this race of development, we have completely forgotten that how much damage we have inflicted to the environment. We have completely ignored the consequences of our action. We have just seen the heights and the successes and ignored the consequences that has impacted on the ozone layer. Well, first, if we talk about the research that was conducted in the year 1970, we can clearly see the scientists have warned about the consequences of the ozone layer depletion. They have even stated that the ozone layer is depleting day by day, and the very first reason for the depletion was the increase of the large amount of emission of the chlorofluorocarbons. In the same year, the Lucent Law Journal was stated, the report stated that the emission was much larger in the developing countries as compared to the developed nation. Well, secondly, if we talk about the scenario of the 1980, we can clearly see that the emission from the developing nation has increased up to 68.8%. And on the other side, if we look, the developed nation has decreased their emission up to 45%. What does it show? It shows the reckless practice which has been performed by the developing nation in order to attain those heights. Well, secondly, if we talk about the research that has been mandated in the Columbus University in the year 2018. That report shows that the whole of the ozone layer is getting bigger and bigger every single day. And it has been estimated that by up to 2050 year, it will be grew up to the 24 square kilometers. And it shows the worst consequences of the ozone layer depletion the world has to face. Now, the worthy opponent would rebuttal that the nation, they are forming the various type of agreements, they are signing the treaties in order to deplete down all those substances which has harmed the ozone layer. But here, I would like to ask them a question. Would it even benefit? Would it even recover the damage that has been created over the centuries? The answer is absolutely no. Because here, the damage is irrecoverable in nature. At last, I would like to conclude that in order to prevent the harmful degradation of the ozone layer, we have to take the measures. Otherwise, a day will come that we will only see the product of our greed that we have created and nothing else. With this, I rest with words. Thank you.
The development of the society, the state, and the nation is proportionate to the development of humanity. Good afternoon, one and all. I'm present here in front of you all and against the motion, and I'll show you why. Ozone layer depletion has been one of the major concerns of humanity. Ozone layer has been a blanket over Mother Earth, preventing us from all the harmful ultraviolet rays which otherwise would have caused diseases like skin cancer, eye defects, immunity deficiencies, even crop infertilities. Well, in the year 1970s, in the early 1970s, scientists started discovering some substances in the atmosphere. They called them the ODS, ozone depleting substances. Well, these substances were responsible for the depletion of the ozone layer. They were making the layer thinner and thinner and thinner. Some examples would be chlorofluorocarbons, hydrochlorofluorocarbons, even halogens. As the enemy to the ozone layer was dangerous, so we needed a weapon to fight that enemy, a weapon of cooperation, a weapon of collective teamwork, and the weapon was known as the Montreal Protocol and substances that deplete the ozone layer. In 1987, this protocol was signed by various countries, and the results were miraculous. They were astonishing. Between the year 1986 to 2018, the global emission of ODS declined by 99.7%. Implementation of the protocol between the developed and developing nations was in perfect harmony, in perfect collective teamwork. Both these nations kept aside the differences of war, of conflict, of ideologies, of development. They kept it all aside and came together as a single unified force to protect the ozone layer. They became a blanket over the blanket of Mother Earth. And because of this very collective teamwork, because of this very cooperation, Montreal Protocol became the most successful environmental treaty to have ever been signed. It was ratified by all the 197 United Nations member states, and that is huge. Not only this, but under Article 10 of the Montreal Protocol, multilateral funds were established. Well, these funds were responsible for the financial as well as technical assistance to be given to the developing nations. And the developing nations showed that if the right assistance is provided to them, they are willing to, they are ready to, and more than able to be full protectors, to give full efforts to protect the environment. Still, there are some intelligent people in this room who would believe, as my worldly opponent would, who would believe that development is the reason for the depletion of the ozone layer. But I would just say, development in a society, in a civilization, never ceases. Change is the only constant this universe knows. The race of development was there before, is still there, and will be there in the upcoming future too. But the nations made sure that this development, this conflict, this struggle of their own never affects the ozone layer. After the year 2000, ozone layer started regenerating itself with a rate of 1 to 3% per day. In fact, by 2030, the ozone layer in the northern hemisphere will have recovered. By 2050, that of the southern hemisphere will have recovered, and by 2060, the ozone hole over Antarctica will have recovered to a state as it was there in 1980. At the last, I would just say ozone layer is recovering, and the reason behind it is nothing other than cooperation and development. It is development only that has resulted into creation of new substances which are less harmful to the ozone layer. It is development only that we have been able to replace these older ozone depleting substances with the new substances which are less harmful. And it is going to be development only which will guide humanity into a new era. Thank you.
It was a very good debate where one speaker spoke about how development has caused the depletion, the other stated how the development is done for the benefit of humans, and also provided that cooperation is needed for the protection of ozone layer. Now I would like to call the second speakers F2 and A2.
Today we are living in a society where people are more offended by satires than they are destruction of our environment. And if you really think that environment is just important in economy, just try holding your breath for a few minutes when you count your money. A very good afternoon, one and all present in this marvelous gathering. Today I am standing at this side of desk because I completely understood that ozone depletion is not only an environmental issue but also an humanitarian crisis. And this is my firm belief that this development is the main reason for ozone layer depletion. For those who are sitting here and still unaware of this terminology, ozone layer depletion means thinning of ozone layer in the upper atmosphere. And scientifically speaking, the ozone level less than 200 depth of unit, which is present in a certain amount in the atmosphere, is what we call ozone hole. And this hole is present in the region over Antarctica. The major cause of this ozone layer depletion is the manufacturing of chemicals that are hazardous for ozone layer. For example, chlorofluorocarbon, hydrogen chlorofluorocarbon, and carbon tetrachloride and many more. And the main concern of this ozone layer depletion is the increase in amount of UV rays that are coming in our atmosphere. And these UV rays cause skin cancer and weaken the immune system. And if we talk about not just humanity, but whole flora and fauna in this earth would be affected if this UV rays affect our earth directly. And if this rays in the name of development continue, then a truly catastrophic change that can be seen in this environment. And believe me, there would be no place where we can hide. In fact, after the effect of Montreal Protocol, which implemented and banned several ozone-depleting chemicals in the chemicals that were there in the current world, but instead these long steady compounds that are still present in our atmosphere are dangerous to ozone layer, and they will take a decade to disappear from here. My worthy opponents might say that there is no worry and the ozone is recovering. So let me tell you that this recovery of ozone is only and critically dependent on one major factor, that is the climate change. And believe me, there is no debate in this that climate change is real. And whether it is developed or developing country, they all are equally responsible for the same. In fact, developed countries have almost contributed 60 to 80% in the global temperature rise, while the developing countries are contributing 20 to 40%. Indeed, there are many technically advanced countries that are making effort to prevent this type of climate change and ozone layer depletion, but still there are many majority of developing countries who are still focusing on developing and putting more focus on economic development and industrialization before even considering of giving importance to natural environmental issues. I mean, you can take our example. We are also a developing country, and yes, we do have many futuristic plans for environment development, but still we are the most polluted, we are dominating in the list of most polluted cities. We have most polluted rivers, we are one in the top carbon emitters countries. And let me remind you one thing, friends, whether you are rich or poor, whether you are big or small, or developed or developing, this Mother Earth won't respect who you are and treat us equally. And it is very unfortunate to know that there are many countries who are least responsible for this climate change but still suffering the most. For example, you can take East African countries, Burundi, that has lowest per capita carbon emission among all the countries, but still it is suffering the highest climate change. It is in the front line of the climate change and having highest temperature rates and facing unreliable rains throughout the season. And this is why I call this a global issue, and that means a global solidarity. And at last, one thing I want to make sure that this is the earth that we all live, and this is what we all have. And unless I don't know about the people who are still believing in all Mars, that we will create a colony in Mars and they will go there. But what I know is there is no plan B, and to protect this planet, there is only two conditions: that we have to make a cooperation between economic development and environmental issues, and that's the only way out. Thank you.
In the words of H. Dean Shaw, man cannot pretend to be higher in ethics, civilization, spirituality and advancement than other creatures, and at the same time live by standards worse than that of a vulture or hyena. Greetings to the house. Ladies and gentlemen, the question of the hour is how is it even remotely fair to call the immeasurable and incomparable advancements that mankind has witnessed over the centuries just as a race for development. With these words to ponder on, I, participant A2, would strongly like to voice my support against the motion which states that the race for development between developed and developing countries is the reason behind the depletion of ozone layer. To begin with, the ozone layer is a thick layer made up of triple oxygen molecules which is found 15 to 30 kilometers above the stratosphere. Now, what it does is it protects us from the harmful ultraviolet radiation of the sun, thus sustaining life on Earth. In the early 1980s, scientists began to realize that Earth's natural sunscreen was depleting over the South Pole during each spring. This thinning of ozone layer over Antarctica came to be known as the ozone hole. Moving forward with my first constructive, since the advent of mankind to where we stand today, from technological reforms to the enhancement in everyday standards of living, ladies and gentlemen, beneath all of it, the motive is taking the human race forward to be better than what we were yesterday, and now to claim the repercussions or development is not appropriate at all. To add to that, even if we do say that there is a applications. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the need of the hour, and we cannot give up after the heights of success that we have achieved, after the heights that we still seek to achieve. Which brings me to my next constructive as to what we can do. Before that, I'd like to draw the attention of this esteemed gathering to some statistical facts. As for the Earth Observatory at NASA, there has been a 20% decrease in ozone layer depletion during the winter months from the year 2005 to the year 2016. In the year 2019, due to abrupt weather patterns, the layer over Antarctica has healed dramatically, which has also led to the smallest hole since the year 1982. Furthermore, the models predict that by the year 2040, the ozone layer would be mostly healed. To add to all of this, sustainable development has come up as the path we want, the path we seek. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2030 model for sustainable development, which has been adopted by all the United Nations member states in the year 2015, act as a blueprint for both developed and developing nations to look after the people as well as the environment. Ladies and gentlemen, at the heart of this convention lies 17 goals for sustainable development, which ensure that both developed and developing countries move forward in partnership with each other without hampering our environment. Sustainable development makes sure that the needs of present are fulfilled without disturbing what our future generations are going to need. Ladies and gentlemen, to err is human, to forgive divine. This metaphor beautifully brings out how humans make mistakes themselves, but find it very hard to forgive the mistakes of others. We cannot put an end to human endeavor. We cannot put an end to the spirit of moving forward. Development is what keeps us going. Ladies and gentlemen, let's face the truth. We are all looking forward to the next big thing that is coming up, and that won't happen if we stop development. What we can do is make sure that we don't end up harming our habitat in the process of that, and we are taking initiatives. If I start quoting the conventions, the treaties that have been signed up, the list would go on, and even the statistical data shows how much we are doing to protect the ozone layer. Ladies and gentlemen, with this I would like to conclude. Thank you.
It was a great debate. The one speaker focused on the humanitarian aspect of the ozone layer and how all the nations are equally responsible for its depletion, while the other deepened it by providing the facts and figures about how the ozone is being healed with the help of concept of sustainable development. Now, I would like to invite the speakers F3 and A3 on the stage.
शैले शैले न माणिक्य भौतिक ना गजे गजे, शैले शैले न माणिक्य भौतिक ना गजे गजे, साथ हो नहीं सर्वत्र चंदन ना बने बने। सदन में उपस्थित सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। मैं आज आप सबके समक्ष अपने विषय के पक्ष में अपने विचार रखने जा रहा हूँ। महोदय, शुरू में मैंने एक श्लोक का उच्चारण किया जिसका अर्थ है हर पर्वत पर माणिक्य नहीं होता, हर हाथी में मोती नहीं होते, सज्जन सब जगह नहीं मिलते, चंदन का वृक्ष हर वन में नहीं होता। इस श्लोक से मेरा संदर्भ यह प्रतिपादन करना था कि हम कितने भाग्यशाली हैं जो ईश्वर ने हमें ये पृथ्वी दी, यह जीवन दिया। जिस तरह हमारे जीवन की रक्षा करने की जिम्मेदारी हमारी है, इन वनों की रक्षा करने की जिम्मेदारी हमारी है, उसी प्रकार इस पृथ्वी और पृथ्वी के तत्वों की रक्षा करने की जिम्मेदारी हमारी है। परंतु आज के इस दौर में विकसित बनने की होड़ ऐसी लगी है कि हम ओजोन परत तो बहुत दूर की बात, अपने आसपास के वातावरण पर भी ध्यान नहीं देते, यहाँ तक कि उस बारे में सोचते भी नहीं। ओजोन परत पृथ्वी की सतह से लगभग 15 से 30 किलोमीटर ऊपर समताप मंडल में पाई जाती है, जो पृथ्वी पर सूर्य से आने वाली खतरनाक पराबैंगनी किरणों से जीवन की रक्षा करती है। महोदय, यह परत सबसे ज्यादा प्रभावित एसी, एयर कंडीशनर, रेफ्रिजरेटर से निकलने वाली पराबैंगनी क्लोरोफ्लोरोकार्बन वायु गैस से होती है। पर हम इस बात से परिचित होते हुए भी रोजाना अपने जीवन में, अपने घरों में, कार्यालयों में एसी का प्रयोग करते हैं। महोदय, यहाँ तक कि आज हम इस सदन में बैठकर 4 एसी का प्रयोग करते हुए ओजोन परत के ऊपर वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता का आयोजन करवा रहे हैं। यह हमारा दुर्भाग्य है कि हम अपनी जिम्मेदारी का निर्वहन सही रूप से नहीं कर पा रहे। यह हमारी जिम्मेदारी और उनके प्रति हमारी गंभीरता को दर्शाता है। महोदय, पिछले वर्ष हम एक बहुत बड़ी विपदा से गुजरे। आज हम सभी के चेहरों पर मास्क लगे हैं क्योंकि हमें मालूम है हमारी हिफाजत उसी से होगी, परंतु ईश्वर द्वारा प्राप्त एक वरदान जो ओजोन परत के रूप में हमें मिला, क्या हम उसका बचाव कर रहे हैं? वो वरदान जो हमारे लिए प्राकृतिक रूप से सनस्क्रीन का काम करता है, परंतु आज हम उसको बचाने में असमर्थ हैं, क्योंकि इस विकास और विकसित बनने की होड़ में हम कहीं ना कहीं खो गए हैं। महोदय, ऐसे विकास और विकसित देश का हम क्या करेंगे जब हमें अपने ही घरों में कैद होना पड़ेगा, या घरों से बाहर निकलने के लिए हमें मनुष्य द्वारा बनाए गए कुछ उपकरणों का प्रयोग करना पड़ेगा। महोदय, सूर्य की ये पराबैंगनी किरणें हमारे लिए किस स्तर पर नुकसानदायक हो सकती हैं, हम अंदाजा भी नहीं लगा सकते। मानव शरीर के लिए ये किरणें त्वचा कर्क रोग, स्वास्थ्य संबंधित रोग तथा मोतियाबिंद जैसी गंभीर बीमारियों के लिए जिम्मेदार हो सकती हैं, तथा यहाँ तक कि यह किरणें मानव शरीर की प्रतिरोधक क्षमता को भी प्रभावित करती हैं। ओजोन परत में होने वाले इस ह्रास का कारण मनुष्य गतिविधि है, जो जीव जगत की रक्षा करने वाली इस परत को नुकसान पहुंचा रहा है। महोदय, जरा सोचिए, क्या ओजोन परत के बिना इस धरती पर, इस पृथ्वी पर जीवन संभव है? याद रखिए, सिर्फ मनुष्य गतिविधियों के नियंत्रण से हम ओजोन परत को बचा सकते हैं। अंत में मैं यही कहूंगा, ओजोन परत को दाग से बचाइए, अगली पीढ़ी को आग से बचाइए। धन्यवाद।
21वीं सदी में विकास की होड़ है, 21वीं सदी में विकास की होड़ है। देशों ने मिलकर ओजोन संरक्षण का निकाला तोड़ है। वैश्विक समझौतों से उठाए गए ऐतिहासिक कदम, जिससे ओजोन क्षरण हो गया है कम, जिससे ओजोन क्षरण हो गया है कम। नमस्कार, मैं आज के विषय के विपक्ष में अपने तथ्य को प्रस्तुत करने जा रहा हूँ। ओजोन एक गैस है जो प्राकृतिक रूप में वायुमंडल में मौजूद है। ओजोन की यह परत सूर्य से आने वाली हानिकारक किरणों को रोकती तो है, परंतु ओजोन क्षयकारी पदार्थ जैसे क्लोरोफ्लोरोकार्बन, हाइड्रोक्लोरोफ्लोरोकार्बन मौजूद है जो इसको तोड़ने की क्षमता रखते हैं। महोदय, वर्ष 1960 से लेकर 1980 तक इसके उत्सर्जन में वृद्धि तो हुई, लेकिन ध्यान देने वाली बात तो यह है कि 1986 के बाद उतनी ही तेजी से गिरावट दर्ज की गई है। उदाहरण के तौर पर वर्ष 1995 में 60%, 2000 में 80%, तो वहीं वर्ष 2018 तक 99% की कमी आई है। महोदय, मैं अपने विपक्षी साथियों को बताना चाहता हूं कि वर्ष 2010 तक इसका उत्सर्जन 1960 के स्तर पर आ गया है, और यहाँ पर कमरे में लगे एसी की बात की गई। मैं आंकड़ों से सिद्ध करूंगा कि कैसे इनकी बात गलत है। जैसे कि वर्ष 1989 में क्लोरोफ्लोरोकार्बन का उत्सर्जन जो 8 लाख टन हुआ करता था, वो आज 2021 में 156 टन पर आ गया है। इससे यह सिद्ध है कि हम इस रास्ते पर आगे बढ़ रहे हैं जहां पर हम सभी मानकों का प्रयोग करते हुए ओजोन लेयर के संरक्षण में काम कर रहे हैं। इसके लिए 1985 में हुए वियना कन्वेंशन को हम कैसे भूल सकते हैं, जिसमें 174 देशों ने अपना समर्थन दिया। तो वहीं मॉन्ट्रियल प्रोटोकॉल ने ओजोन के संरक्षण के लिए एक नए जीवन की शुरुआत की, जिसमें पूरे विश्व से 198 विकसित एवं विकासशील देशों ने अपना पूरा समर्थन दिया। महोदय, बहुत ही विनम्रता के साथ मैं बताना चाहूंगा कि आज विश्व ओजोन दिवस है, लेकिन यहाँ पर उसके विषय की चर्चा ही नहीं है। इस बार का विषय है मॉन्ट्रियल प्रोटोकॉल पर सफलता। हमने कैसे सफलता को अर्जित किया, ये चीज हम इस बार भूल रहे हैं, जो इस विषय में साक्षात अंकित है। महोदय, आगे बढ़ते हुए मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि समय की मांग है, समय की मांग है, विकास की गति को थाम सकते नहीं। समय की मांग है, विकास की गति को थाम सकते नहीं। विकसित होने की चाह है, उत्सर्जन घटाकर बनी राह है। हम सब ने मिलकर ओजोन क्षरण को घटाया है, हम सब ने मिलकर ओजोन क्षरण को घटाया है और सुरक्षा कवच को बचाया है, और इस ओजोन की सुरक्षा कवच को बचाया है। महोदय, उदाहरण के तौर पर देखें तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने 85%, तो एक विकासशील देश भारत ने 80% तक ओजोन क्षयकारी पदार्थों में कमी लाई है। इन सभी आंकड़ों को प्रस्तुत करने के बाद मैं अपने साथियों से पूछना चाहता हूं कि क्या अगर कोई देश पूरे व्यक्तित्व के साथ विज्ञान के मदद के साथ 21वीं सदी में सभी अंतरराष्ट्रीय मानकों का पालन करते हुए विकास कर रहा है, तो क्या ये गलत है? क्या ये अनुचित है? महोदय, मैं अपने सभी मुद्दों को, तथ्यों को समेटते हुए अंत में कहना चाहूंगा कि ओजोन क्षयकारी पदार्थों में कमी संबंधित कटौती ने न केवल मानव स्वास्थ्य, अर्थव्यवस्था, पारिस्थितिकी तंत्र का ही रक्षा किया है, बल्कि जलवायु परिवर्तन के जुड़े वैश्विक प्रयासों जैसे क्योटो प्रोटोकॉल, पेरिस समझौता, इन सब में भी बहुत ही अधिक महत्वपूर्ण योगदान निभाया है। धन्यवाद।
अत्यंत ही ज्ञानवर्धक वाद विवाद दोनों ही वक्ताओं ने काफी सरल तरीके से अपने विचार सदन में स्पष्ट किए। अब मैं वक्ता F4 और A4 को मंच पर बुलाना चाहूंगा।
Before getting into the topic and me becoming the rocket launcher for all my thoughts and ideas, allow me to quote Nelson Mandela. No country can be considered to be either a developed or a developing country until and unless its citizens are well educated. A very warm good afternoon to everyone present here. The topic catching fire today is that the race of development in between the developing and the developing countries is the major cause of ozone depletion. And I stand here upon this podium strongly supporting the motion. To make my support much more prominent, I would like to get you all aware of the statement delivered by the World Government. The World Government stated that we completely accept the fact that the ozone depletion race, that the developing race in between the developing and the developing countries is the major cause for ozone depletion, whereby it works as a catalyst in decreasing the ozone depletion. Over here, I would like to tell you that we are very well known of the fact that how important is the ozone layer for mankind, yet we perform activities which promote the depletion of it. Have you ever thought about the fact what happens next? Or why are the countries participating in this race? Well, I have got a sustainable answer to it. The simple answer to it is to attain supremacy. And to attain supremacy, these countries establish either factories or industries which release harmful chemicals like chlorofluorocarbons, solvents and propellants, which are directly released into the environment. And hence, as an effect of these chemicals, it results not only the human life, but even the botanical and aquatic life. In human life, it can be observed in the form of cancer, blindness, and low immunity system. In the botanical life, it can be observed in the form of low quality of growth, low quality of crops. The quality of the crops is extremely depreciated, and the soil erosion is also affected. Not forgetting that the carbon cycle is also affected. When all these things come into effect all together, it gives rise to global warming. I think I don't need to explain the repercussions of global warming, all because being an individual of the 21st century, we have very well witnessed the repercussions of global warming. Over here, I would like to quote Gustavo Petro. No country is either a developed or a developing country. Rather, a developed country is not a country where each citizen owns a car, but the rich people also walk down in public transport. As a law student, I have realized the fact that development and time goes hand in hand, and we have to keep up with it. And I can very well remember of the legal maxim that my teacher taught me in class, which says, "Ubi just ibi," which says, where there is a right, there is a limit. The same way, where there is a problem, there is a solution. Rather, the solution is hidden in the problem itself. Concluding my debate by saying that if we choose an organic and natural method towards life, we will end up solving the problem of depletion of ozone layer. With this, I rest my case. Thank you.
From rubbing stones to light a fire, to asking Alexa to switch on the lights, the human race has come a long way. It was rightly stated by Ashley Montague, and I quote, "By virtue of being born to humanity, the human beings have the right to development, the right to fulfillment of their potentialities as a human," unquote. The race for development, as stated in the motion, is a basic part, an essential part of basic human existence, and to question this very process isn't a prudent choice. Good afternoon to one and all present here. It was the year of 1985. The scientific confirmation of the ozone layer depletion had brought all world leaders to their knees. Thereafter, two subsequent pacts, the Vienna Convention for the Protection of the Ozone Layer in 1985 and the Montreal Protocol in 1987 was signed. Today, it is of utmost importance to mention these facts in order to prove the very point that although developed and developing countries all around the globe were in the race for development in order to keep up with the changing world, the very idea to address issues of environmental protection was not lost. These facts have played a decisive role in protecting our ozone layer. Further, I will be putting arguments to support this point. In a recent study, it was stated that without the Montreal Protocol, the US would have witnessed 280 million cases of skin cancer, 1.5 million cases of skin cancer deaths, 45 million cases of cataracts, and the world would have been at least 25% hotter. It was also stated in the very study that the ozone layer depletion of the Antarctic in the year of 1987, the year of the signing of the Montreal Protocol, was around 22 million square kilometers. The success of this pact can be judged by the very fact that this size of this cavity stands at 9.3 million kilometers today, according to the European Environment Agency. The reason I am stating it to be such a big success is because most of the ozone depleting substances remain in the stratosphere for decades, which means that the healing of the ozone layer is a very slow and a long process. In fact, there wasn't any substantial change seen until the year 2000. Today, many of my opponents here would argue that even if we agree that these pacts have met their ultimate goal, isn't it also true that this problem was indeed created by human activities? For them, I would like to quote a very astute remark by Jack Fresco, which stated that the future is fluid. Each act, each decision, each development creates new possibilities and eliminates others. The future is ours to direct. My further argument would be supporting this very quotation. The problem here is that the basic process of human development has an intrinsic property of creating problems which are mostly unintentional. These problems are sometimes also hazardous for the nature. But on the other hand, it is also true that this hunger for innovation, this hunger for development is the only way to tackle these problems and find innovative solutions. The human society is ever changing and no one can strangle it to be stagnant. The development in the field of medicine, in the field of clean energy have given solution to problems which were created by inventions and discoveries which once were revolutionary. People all around the world are working on eco-friendly alternatives which are less harmful for the ozone layer. Towards my conclusion, I would just like to say that no one in this room is denying their responsibility towards the ozone layer or the environment for that matter. But all my above contentions have the sole purpose of making sure that we are fighting the real enemy. Anyone tampering with the concept of sustainable development for their petty gains is the real enemy and not the process of development itself. We as humans have a responsibility to fight against these people. If one Greta Thunberg can rise and ask these people that how dare you, so can we. Thank you very much.
It was an amazing debate. The speaker in the proposition provided how the humans are responsible for the depletion of ozone layer, and the other pivoted into providing the success stones of the Montreal Protocol. So now, let us invite the last speakers, F5 and A5.
जब इस विषय को ध्यान से देखा जाता है तो दो बातें उठकर आती हैं। पहला है विकसित और विकासशील देशों के बीच की दौड़ और दूसरा है ओजोन परत का ह्रास। और महोदय, आज सदन में अपने तर्कों के द्वारा मैं इन दोनों के बीच का संबंध सिद्ध करूंगी। महोदय, इस बात में कोई संदेह नहीं है कि विकसित हो या विकासशील, सारे ही देश विकास का अंतिम परिणाम जाने बिना एक अंधी दौड़ लगा रहे हैं, बिल्कुल उस व्यक्ति की तरह जो रेगिस्तान में दूर से पानी का प्रतिबिंब देखता है और सोचता है कि वहाँ पानी है और बिना कुछ जाने समझे दौड़ पड़ता है। महोदय, उसे पानी तो नहीं मिलता लेकिन वो अंधे मुंह गिर जरूर जाता है। अब इस स्थिति के दो उदाहरण मैं सदन को बताना चाहूंगी ताकि मेरे प्रतिपक्षी ये ना कहें कि मैं सदन को बरगला रहे हैं। महोदय, पहला उदाहरण है कि आज से 50 वर्ष पूर्व कई बड़े देशों ने सोचा कि क्यों ना अंतरिक्ष में कुछ यानों को भेजा जाए और बाहर की दुनिया के बारे में पता किया जाए। महोदय, अमेरिका ऐसे 1900 यानों को आज तक भेज चुका है, लेकिन भारत और चीन जैसे विकासशील देशों ने इस बात से कोई सबक नहीं लिया, बल्कि अपने 112 और 420 क्रमशः यानों को एक एक करके अंतरिक्ष में भेजा। मेरे प्रतिपक्षी इस विकास को बता रहे हैं कि बहुत जरूरी है, बहुत ही आवश्यक है, लेकिन मैं उनको बताना चाहूंगी कि महोदय, ऐसा हर एक यान जो अंतरिक्ष में जाता है वो समताप मंडल में कई हजार मीट्रिक टन क्लोरीन की मात्रा को छोड़ता है जो ओजोन के अणुओं का एक एक करके नाश करती है। महोदय, अगला उदाहरण है ओजोन को नुकसान 1993 में अमेरिका और चीन के बीच इन पदार्थों का जितना उत्पादन था उसमें 70,000 टन का अंतर था, लेकिन आज की तारीख में वो अंतर केवल 2,000 टन का बचा है। महोदय, चीन ने पूरी ताकत से अपनी दौड़ पूरी की और वो उस दौड़ में आगे बढ़ गया। और आज की तारीख में चीन हो, दक्षिण कोरिया, उत्तरी कोरिया, जापान, यहाँ तक कि भारत जैसे देश अमेरिका को इन सब में पीछे छोड़ चुके हैं। मेरे प्रतिपक्षी कृपया मुझे बताएं महोदय, ये कहाँ से विशेष परिस्थितियों के लिए है और कहाँ से थोड़ा है? ये वो कार्य हैं जिन्होंने ओजोन को नुकसान पहुंचाए हैं, लेकिन कुछ ऐसे कदम भी हैं जो उठाए जाने थे और उनको भी ओजोन परत, उनको भी विकास की दौड़ के भेंट चढ़ा दिया गया। महोदय, सबसे पहला कदम था कि CFC और HFC जैसी गैसों की जगह उन गैसों का प्रयोग किया जाना था जो ओजोन के लिए कम हानिकारक है, जैसे कि मेरे प्रतिपक्षी बता के गए कि सदन के एसियों में लगे हुए हैं। पर उन्हें बता दूं, पिछले 10 वर्षों में डिक्लोरोमीथेन जैसी वैकल्पिक गैसों ने ओजोन को इतना नुकसान पहुंचाया है जितना 30 वर्षों में CFC ने भी नहीं पहुंचाया था। इन सारे ही पदार्थों की आज भी कालाबाजारी चल रही है महोदय, और यहाँ तक कि विकसित देशों को जिस बहुपक्षीय कोष में मौद्रिक सहायता देनी थी विकासशील देशों के लिए, चीन और G77 के देश उससे भी पीछे हट चुके हैं। अब महोदय, अपनी बात के निष्कर्ष में मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी कि मानती हूँ विकास आवश्यक है। यदि विकास नहीं होता तो शायद हमें ये भी नहीं पता चलता कि ओजोन में कोई छेद भी है, लेकिन महोदय क्या फायदा कि भविष्य में उड़ती हुई कारें बन जाए और हम चांद पे पहुंच जाएं जबकि पृथ्वी ही हमारी रहने लायक न बचे। और अपनी बात के अंत में अपने प्रतिपक्षियों को एक सलाह देना चाहूँगी कि महोदय, मानती हूँ मेरे कुछ तर्कों से आप इस सदन में बिल्कुल संतुष्ट नहीं है, लेकिन आपके मेरे तर्कों से इस सदन के वाद विवाद से सबसे जरूरी है ओजोन को बचाना, क्योंकि कल और आएंगे नगमों की खिलती कलियां चुनने वाले, कल और आएंगे नगमों की खिलती कलियां चुनने वाले, मुझसे बेहतर कहने वाले, तुमसे बेहतर सुनने वाले। धन्यवाद।
तेरी जुबान कतरनी पड़ेगी, तेरी जुबान कतरनी पड़ेगी, तुझे मर्ज है तू बार बार बोलता है। तेरी जुबान कतरनी पड़ेगी, तुझे मर्ज है तू बार बार बोलता है। कुछ और तो नहीं मगर हाँ तो झूठ बहुत शानदार है। आज सदन पटल पर रखा विषय है कि क्या विकासशील और विकसित देशों के बीच विकास को लेकर जो होड़ मची हुई है उससे सबसे ज्यादा नुकसान ओजोन परत को हो रहा है। महोदय, मैं इस बात का पुरजोर विरोध दर्ज कराता हूँ। सदन को मैं बता दूं, मैं इस बात से इनकार नहीं करता कि ओजोन परत का क्षय हुआ है, अवश्य हुआ है महोदय, किंतु मैं ये बात कदापि नहीं मानूंगा महोदय कि इस क्षय का जिम्मेदार विकास है। महोदय, या तो मेरे प्रतिद्वंदी को यहाँ ये नहीं पता कि विकास की असली परिभाषा क्या होती है, या फिर वो सब कुछ जानते हुए भी अनजान बन रही हैं और इस सदन को बहकाने की कोशिश कर रही है। महोदय, 1985 में जब जो बार्नर ने सबसे पहले ओजोन का छेद ढूंढा था तो वाकई पूरी दुनिया में हड़कंप मच गया था। 1987 में दुनिया के सभी राष्ट्र एकत्रित हुए और उन्होंने कहा इसका कुछ करना पड़ेगा। उन्होंने एक ऐसी संधि बनाई जिसमें हर देश ने हस्ताक्षर किया कि वो उन सभी पदार्थों का उपयोग बंद कर देंगे, उन सभी रसायनों का उत्पाद बंद कर देंगे जिससे ओजोन परत को कोई नुकसान होता है। महोदय, हिटलर ने एक बात कही कि अगर आप किसी एक झूठ को 100 बार बोलेंगे 100 अलग तरीके से तो वो सत्य बन जाएगा। और मेरी जो प्रतिद्वंदी यहाँ पे खड़ी हैं लग रहा है इसी बात से प्रेरणा लेकर आएंगे। महोदय, जब 1900 ये यहाँ पे चीख कर चिल्ला रही हैं कि CFC, HCFC, फ्लोरीन, महोदय मुझे कोई बताए कि जब संधि हुई थी 1985 में और 1995 में दुनिया की सबसे बड़े बहुराष्ट्रीय कंपनियां जो कि केवल अपना स्वार्थ देखती हैं, उन्हें मनुष्य के जीवन से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, जब उन्होंने भी CFC, HCFC और फ्लोरीन का इस्तेमाल बंद कर दिया है तो आखिर ये CFC यहाँ कहाँ से रही है महोदय? कहाँ से कालाबाजारी हो रही है? महोदय, विकास की बात हो रही है तो बात करूंगा कुछ विकासशील देशों की। भारत की बात करते हैं महोदय। 1987 में जब मॉन्ट्रियल संधि हुई थी तो भारत एक जवान देश था, केवल 40 साल हुए थे भारत की आजादी को। इन 40 सालों में महोदय भारत ने AC फ्रिज नहीं देखे, इसमें भारत ने देखा भुखमरी। AC फ्रिज और डिओड्रेंट नहीं आए थे उस समय भारत में महोदय। 90 के शतक में जब एशियाई देशों का वैश्वीकरण शुरू हुआ उस समय महोदय एशिया का कुल CFC उत्पादन मात्र 4.8% था और ये 4.8% भी महोदय आसमान में एरोप्लेन चलाने से नहीं आया था, ये आया था महोदय वैक्सीन के भंडारण से। अब मेरी प्रतिद्वंदी बोलेंगे ये भी गलत बात है, तो मैं बता दूं महोदय कि कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी तक अगर किसी वैक्सीन को पहुंचाना होता था उस समय तो हमारे पास आज की उपकरण नहीं थे। उस समय CFC का इस्तेमाल किया जाता था ताकि इन वैक्सीनों को ठंडा रखा जा सके। महोदय 2018 में पोलियो से मात्र 33 लोगों की मृत्यु हुई। 1985 में महोदय इसका आंकड़ा 3.5 लाख से भी ऊपर था। तो मनुष्य जीवन की कर्करोग की बात ना करें महोदय। यहाँ पे लोग कह रहे हैं कि ये हुआ वो हुआ। मैं उसमें ज्यादा जाऊंगा नहीं महोदय, समय की बेड़ियों में बंधा हुआ हूँ। अपनी बात अंत करने से पहले मैं कुछ प्रश्न पूछना चाहूंगा कि क्या 1985 से पहले भारत में या इस पृथ्वी में ओजोन में छेद नहीं हो रहा था महोदय। और जो छेद आज है उससे बड़ा छेद था उस समय महोदय। सन 1990 से लेकर सन 2021 आज का दिन है महोदय, हर दशक में कम से कम 5 से 5.5% बढ़ोतरी हुई है ओजोन परत में। तो महोदय ये जो कुछ बुद्धिजीवी हैं मेरे प्रतिद्वंदी की तरह जो कह रहे हैं कि दुनिया खत्म होने वाली है, ओजोन परत से सब लोग मर जाएगा, कर्क रोग होने वाला है, उनसे बेहतर सुनने वाले आएंगे, उनसे बेहतर कहने वाले आएंगे, वो तो यही बात कर रहे हैं महोदय कि मोहल्ले में खबर उठी थी कि मेरी तबीयत खराब है, लेकिन इन्होंने पूछ कर मुझे बीमार कर दिया।
Of this program, intramural debate competition being organized on this day of World Ozone Day in collaboration with 127 Army battalions, Brigadier Mohan Singh Vishnu, Honorable Commandant of Military Hospital, Dehradun. Guest of honor on the occasion, Colonel Rohit Srivastava, Commanding Officer of 127 Battalion, Dr. Abhishek Joshi. Also guest of honor on the occasion, with Director of the University, Principal of Law College, Dehradun, Professor Poonam Rawal, Honorable Judges on the occasion, Mr. Kumar Ashok ji, Dr. Chikha Miyan, Ms. Smriti Miyan, Jeshurj, and other friends, those who have represented the 127 Battalion, my dear faculty members, President, Vice President, Secretary, and all the office bearers of Aram the Debating Society, all other participants, all representative of different other student bodies sitting in this seminar hall, and my dear students. I extend my greetings to all of you, and at the outset, I extend my best message on the occasion of World Ozone Day. Ladies and gentlemen, only few months before, Colonel Rohit Srivastava, when he approached to this university with a very good cause that led Law College Dehradun and their battalion join hand for a common cause, that is environment protection. So immediately, one question came to my mind, and that's a real fact about Dehradun, which I would like to share with you, particularly the younger brigade sitting before me, the budding lawyers. There was a time in Dehradun when from Mussoorie Hills, in an interval of 5 minutes, one truck of limestone used to come through Rajpur Road to the different places for the production of lime and marble chips. You cannot imagine that time when the trucks which were used in this city, they were known as Gattu. They were half small trucks. And in an interval of 15 minutes, one truck used to come from there. And this entire Mussoorie hill, it became treeless. Result was less rainfall and so many other consequences at that point of time. One of the renowned NGO of this city, Rural and Litigation Entitlement Case, which was run and is being run by Padma Bhushan Avdesh Kausalji. He comes with a writ petition. Everyone of us know Raleigh versus. So when that writ petition was decided by the Honorable Supreme Court, the order was to immediately stop the hill cutting. So this was the part, this was the action of legal luminaries. Now the big question before us was, how to make laws which is already caused in years and years. Then this battalion, this territorial army, they were deputed, they were assigned to do this work. And today when you see these hills full with trees, and when you proudly say that the same rainy season of Dehradun is coming back, that credit goes to this battalion. This was the very reason I thought, I discussed with my top management, Honorable Chancellor Sri Jitendra Joshi ji, that can we go forward for that? He has given me the open hand, and I conveyed to Colonel Rohit Srivastava sir also, that we can go long way for any venture to be taken for the protection of environment in this city in general and in the entire state in particular. So that is why this collaboration came, and this is of course is the first step towards our joint venture. Now, let me share with you, Brigadier Sahab, we are determined to make this campus as green campus. Around 5 years before, Government of India, Ministry of MNRE, they have given us one project on green campus, and our university was fortunately one amongst the 14 universities of the country. They have been given this project by Ministry, Government of India. Fortunately, I was the principal investigator in that project. So when I asked to my top management, Honorable Chancellor, he said me only one thing: I am not interested in grants. I am here to make the investment. But if at all you take this project, it should have some result which we can show to everyone that we have taken this project of Green Campus. Then we study, then first of all, I studied what is Green Campus. Then study showed that Green Campus does not mean only to have lot of trees and grass. No. Green Campus include, is the campus dependent in the energy sources? Water, how are they going to make use of the waste of the overstress? How are they going to make grass, wasted grass here? So we studied it, we come up with the conclusion, and at the first stage, we have our own boring, our own water here, nothing taken from government or any pipeline. Secondly, we have plenty of roofs, so we are making very good use of the solar energy. As on date, 35% and more energy requirement of the university is being fulfilled by our own resources. That is what was the achievement of that project. So now, once we have joined hand with the army, with the soldier with the energy, and my budding lawyers with legal minds, I understand we will go a long way and will definitely come with the practice. Lastly, I would like to congratulate RM the Debating Society. This is one of the society which is the eldest brother or eldest sister in the student bodies of the college. As the president has already explained, a lot of laurels brought by them. But as far as organizing part was, I am very happy. Rest the Colonel Sahab will tell you what was the organization part. So my all the blessing with all the society members, including the leadership of Mr. Amisi and Professor Kulamdar. And I also congratulate the speakers. I think it will be very difficult for the judges to decide who is first and who is second, who is third. But congratulations to all the speakers for being the best speaker, all from my hand. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite Colonel Rohit Srivastava, Commanding Officer 127 Infantry Battalion, TA Ecological, Garhwal Rifles, Indian Army, to address the gathering.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Warm regards to the chief guest, the meeting of our guest. I extend my gratitude and indebtedness to Professor Dr. Bharguna, Dr. Abhishek, members of the faculty, administration staff, and the Debating Society, which has organized an event which is as good as an military position and eloquent as poetry of William Wordsworth. I take this opportunity to speak to my young friends over here. I'll narrate a small anecdote and try and share my feelings as I see your young mind and your attitude over here. Long time back, I had the opportunity to visit a beach in West Bengal, which was at Digha. And it was monsoon season, night went, evening, it was getting late in the evening. And at a distance I could see one man who was bending down and throwing something into the sea. And that kept on happening for 10 minutes, 15 minutes incessantly. That man was picking up something and throwing into the sea. And again he was throwing into the sea. I got inquisitive and walked up to him, and I could realize that he was picking up millions of starfish which had got washed up on the beach due to bad weather, and he was aimlessly picking up something and throwing into the sea. I couldn't help myself. I went up to him, greeted him, and I asked him, what are you doing? He says, I'm picking up this starfish and throwing it in the water. So I said, there are billions of them on the beach. What difference will it make? And that man said, it makes difference to that starfish. It makes difference to So, as young adults, you are stepping into life, you are going to take on things in a challenging way. It does not matter how small initiative he acts to do. It might be stop using environment pollution plastic. It might be switching off a light in a classroom when you are not using it. It might be telling your administrator that so and so tap is leaking by drops. All these small things will make a difference to someone, to the environment that we live in. If you take small steps in life, it will prepare you to take a leap when you grow up. Use your time, this beautiful time in your life, to acquire knowledge, to gain right attitude and aptitude in taking small steps, so that you become the young leaders who take leaps and change the environment and conserve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for such a wonderful message. Now, I would like to have the honor of inviting our prestigious chief guest, Brigadier Mohan Singh Bish, Commandant, Military Hospital, Dehradun, to enlighten us with his words of wisdom.
Professor Rajesh Kogla, Dean, Law College, Dehradun, and the officiating Vice Chancellor of Ranchi University, Professor Abhishek Joshi, Director, Ranchi University, all the judges, honorable judges, and respected faculty members, and my young friends. Firstly, I thank the commanding officer of 127 PA Battalion, Colonel Srivastava, of having invited me here, because if it had not been for his coaxing, I wouldn't have been here. But I am grateful and thankful that I am here today. I have had the chance to interact with you all, to hear you all, and to see this beautiful university by my own self. I congratulate all the participants. I know there will be winners, there will be losers. Well, when I was in the boarding school, we had a caption in the gymnasium. We used to say the essential thing in life is taking part and not winning. Everyone cannot be a winner, but all those who have participated, they are all winners. The day can be yours, the day may not be yours. So, all those who are winners today, congratulations to you all. But all those who just could not get to that podium, that doesn't mean that your performance was not up to the mark. You can just say it was not your day. I know a lot of research, lot of references and guidance from the staff, from the faculty, your peer group has gone into this, which has made this debate a real success. And 16th September being the World Ozone Day, there could not have been a better topic to discuss it on this particular day. So congratulations to you all and all the participants. I was really amazed by the facts and figures. Suddenly I realized that I was outdated on this occasion. Definitely. I also like to congratulate Aram, your debating society. I know because of it must have been because of their thought process and their the complete society which has backed you up to make this debate a grand success. And I also congratulate the 127 Infantry Battalion PA Garhwal Rifles for collaborating with this law college and making their contribution towards the environmental development of Pranjal. I also happen to be from this place, and I have seen that degradation in the environment, deforestation in the name of development. But at the same time, gradually now things have changed. People have become more educated. They are more environmental friendly. They realize the degradation in the environmental aspect, and I am sure in the coming years and with you, young budding lawyers, and I call you the youngest man of today, but you are the future of this country. You are the future of future developers of this nation. So all the best to you. Go out there with success, and at the same time make a mark for yourself, protect the environment, take care of the environment, because that is what will keep this country safe, sound, and at the same time pollution free and a healthy country. Because wherever there is no pollution, the health part is automatically taken care of. But if we start degrading the environment, definitely it has its own side effects, harmful effects, which ultimately is going to cause various diseases, and both not only diseases does not mean that it is going to harm your body, it causes mental, psychological, everything. It's like a whirligig. It's a complete cycle. So you have to take care of your environment, prevent the pollution, and take care of it. We all have to contribute our own might. Lastly, I am very happy that your university has, started this Go Green policy. Lots of energy has been generated from the solar power. Water harvesting is there, and afforestation. Of course, the greenery. You can see the lush green campus. I was totally surprised and amazed by this. Thank you for inviting me. All the best to the winners and all those who have participated. And I also lastly thank our professor and dean over here for having invited me here. Thank you, sir, and thank you very much.
Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Rajesh Bhaguna sir, Dean, Law College Dehradun, and Vice Chancellor officiating Uttaranchal University for the declaration of the result.
For this one, I request our chief guest, Mani Sir, and Dr. Joshi sir to come on the dais so that we can give the prizes of. Now the runner-up prize for best Hindi debaters is A5 Park. Prize of best Hindi debaters F5 Satakshi. speaker is A.Y. Swapnil. Now the best English speaker, A1, he is A1.
A very good evening to one and all present over here. Today I, Anupriya Poddar, on behalf of Aram the Debating Society, Law College Dehradun, take this opportunity to express my gratitude to all of you for your contribution in making the intramural debate competition a success. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Brigadier Mohan Singh Bish sir, for his gracious presence and for showering us with his blessings. My gratitude to Colonel Rohit Srivastav sir for being an amazing co-host for the event. We are thankful for your hard work and perseverance. My special thanks to guest of honor, Director, Student Affairs and IT Services, Dr. Abhishek Joshi sir, for being a part of this debate competition and for his extended support. I would also like to extend my sincere gratitude towards our patron team, our Law College Dehradun and Vice Chancellor officiating Uttaranchal University, Dr. Rajesh Bahuguna sir, for this event would not have been possible without his support, parenting, guidance and efforts. I would also like to thank our officiating principal, Head of Department, Law College Dehradun, Dr. Poonam Rawat ma'am, for always believing that we could pull off this event since the very inception of the proposal. I would also like to thank our heartfelt gratitude to our respected judges, Mr. Kumar Ashutosh sir, Smriti Unyal ma'am, and Sikha Unyal Gerala ma'am. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our respected chairperson sir, Mr. Amit Kumar, for his unfazed supervision throughout the entire event as a true chairperson of a society should, to ensure that the event goes smoothly. I would also like to thank our faculty members for taking their time out to be the part of this event. We are grateful, Sari ma'am. I would also like to thank our societies of LCD for being here for us and all the good wishes they have given us for the success of this event. I would like to thank all the students for being humble and patient spectators for the debate. I would like to extend my gratitude to each member of Team Aram who have worked day and night for the success of this event. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the volunteers who have worked tirelessly for this event. Any event would not be incomplete without the help of administrative and supporting staff. So I would like to take the opportunity to thank Kartikeya Joshi sir, Ved sir, Bhatt sir, Lalit sir, Sanjay sir, Virendra bhaiya, Ramashankar bhaiya, Kiran bhaiya, Ravindra bhaiya, Rahul bhaiya, Babita didi, Asha didi for supporting us in organizing the event so smoothly. Last but not the least, congratulations to all the winners and also to all the participants who have took the courage to compete in this debate competition and have proved their resilience. Thank you all for your gracious presence and to make this event a great success. I would like to request everyone to rise for the national anthem.